right, we are on Friday, October 11th, so 10, 11, 19. Today we're doing horizontal and vertical lines, lesson 3-4. Can someone give me the objective, Eamon?
Objective, write the equation and find the slope of horizontal and vertical lines.
Thank you. Yeah, so there are 3 different parts to the objective, and there's only one homework assignment. So all of these objectives are embedded in one homework assignment. So let's talk about the properties. Before I talk about that though, raise your hand if you have some familiarity of the slope equation graph of horizontal and vertical lines. How many of you have a rough idea what those look like? Okay, so you kind of have seen this before, but this is definitely going to strengthen your knowledge. So the graph of a horizontal line, it doesn't matter where you graph this. I'm going to graph it right through here. Horizontal, think of the horizon. The horizon is that beautiful sunset, so if it helps you can even add a picture to this. You can think of, oh, here's the sun and it's setting on the horizon. There's the horizontal line. You can do another horizontal line. It doesn't matter where they go. I can do a horizontal line down there, a horizontal line right through the x-axis. Those are all horizontal lines. Yeah, there you go. Portrait versus horizontal. Is it portrait versus landscape though, isn't it? Okay. Is it a question or you got, yeah, question.
So a horizontal line, only the x coordinates will change, not the y coordinates?
The x coordinates change and the y coordinates is the same y coordinate every time, or the same height every time. Same height of 3, height of 3, height of 3, but then the x's can change. Yeah, good insight. The one thing I do really want to point out that will help all of us is that horizontal lines go through the y-axis. So let me change to green here. It goes through the y. Through the y. Not through the x-axis. I mean, this one line happened to go through all of the x-axis and the one time through the y-axis. But every single horizontal line will always pass through the y-axis at least once. Let's talk about vertical lines. So if this is horizontal, you can make it with your arm. Someone show me vertical. There it is. So vertical line, go ahead and draw whatever vertical lines you want. We have lots of karate kids in here. So those are some vertical lines. Notice that vertical lines go through the x-axis. So that's the note that I'm going to add here. Through the x. Through the x-axis. It touches the x-axis, and in many cases it will never ever touch the y-axis.
So a vertical line can't go straight through the y-axis like the horizontal?
Oh, it totally could, yeah. I just didn't do that example. Here, I'll do that one here. Whoop, right through where x equals 0.
But that's basically the only time it'll be touching the y.
Exactly, yep.
Okay.
And it's touching it at an infinite number of points. All right, so let's talk about the equation. So you guys can give whatever examples you want. If you drew one at 3, you can say that y is equal to 3. And take a note here. So y is equal to 3 is an example of a horizontal line, and then x is equal to 2 is an example of a vertical line. Notice that y equals 3 is because it goes through the y-axis. X equals 2 because it goes through the x-axis. So if you ever get confused on whether it's y or x, which axis do you go through? That will be your equation. If I'm going through the y-axis, your equation is going to be y equals whatever number that you pass through. If it's going through the x-axis at -3 here, you're going to have x equal to -3. You could also have y equal to 0. That's this line right here going through the y-axis at the y-coordinate 0. You can have the y-coordinate down here at -3, so this could be y equals -3. I could have x equal to 0. The main thing, horizontal lines are y equals, vertical lines, x equals. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Not too hard? So slope. So everyone's going to do this right now. So stand up. Face the board, and with your arms out to the right-hand side, everyone graph a slope of 1. Now graph a slope of 2. Graph a slope of 10. Graph a slope of -0.5. Graph a slope of -3. Graph a slope of 1/4. Graph a slope of 0. What line did you just make? that a horizontal or a vertical line?
Horizontal.
Okay, so horizontal has a slope of 0. Let's keep going. Let's do a slope of 10 again. A slope of 100. A slope of 1,000. A slope of infinity. Straight up. Yep. Here it is. The end. Sit down. The slope of a horizontal line is 0. The slope of a vertical line, we're not allowed to touch infinity. You do not have permission. Once you hit calculus, then you have my permission. Until now, or until then, we have to say DNE. Because you don't know how to talk about infinity formally in mathematics yet. It would be fun to teach you, it's just, that's more of a calculus topic. If you say infinity, you are kind of correct. It's just, you have to say the limit as it approaches infinity, and I haven't talked about limits. But for now, DNE.
What does DNE stand for?
Does not exist. I'll write it out here. Does not exist.
I have like nothing. Nothing doesn't exist.
Nothing doesn't exist also. Well, nothing in the sense of 0 does exist, I guess. So don't use infinity, use DNE. And I'll talk a little bit about why it's DNE. So the idea of slope. Quiet raise hand. What is slope again? What is the definition? Your definition could be x1. It could be the other one. Jade? Wait, do you have your card?
Delta.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Delta y over delta x.
You don't have to write this down, but this is my definition. So delta y over delta x, I'll use this one. And I can use the other definition if you want as well, because I know some of you like y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if my slope is straight up, how much am I moving left and right?
0.
What is my delta x?
0.
The slope for these vertical lines is something divided by 0. So it's like, oh, maybe I went up an infinity, or maybe I went up 100 over 0. That is a swear word in math. You cannot say that. That's like a sin. You can't divide by 0. You're never allowed to do that. That's the reason that we can't divide by variables. Sometimes the variable is 0. That's bad.
This is our this is my DNE symbol.
Oh, nice. I like it. So you can never divide by 0. That is why we say it does not exist. You can never divide by 0. Moving on. Let's do example number 1. What is the equation of this line? So it's going through which axis and where's that coordinate and what is the equation? I'll give you guys another 10 seconds to think about what the equation of that line is. Look at your notes up above. What is the equation of that line? All right, quiet raise hand. Who's got it? Quiet.
X equals -3.
Why is it x?
Because it's vertical and it's going through the x-axis.
Two beautiful answers, yes. It is vertical and goes through the x-axis. The x-axis is the one that runs like this.
Oh!
It almost made a big slice of
Question, Esha.
So we know it's -3 because that's where we can see. So if it were like over one line, it would be x equals -2.
Exactly. Good job. I love the what if questions. That's showing me that you really understand what's going on. What is the slope of that line? Quiet raised hand. Charles. DNE. Does not exist. The slope does not exist. It's too high. You're dividing by 0 for the delta x. You're not changing the delta x. Perfect. All right. Let's move on to example number 2. This one is slightly harder. What is the equation of the horizontal line? So make horizontal line. Go for it. Horizontal line. What is the equation of a horizontal line that passes through 4, -7? Okay, is horizontal line, is that passing through the x-axis, the y-axis? What's going on with the horizontal line? Do you remember from the notes, or do you have to go back and look at your notes? Is it passing through the x-axis, or is it passing through the y-axis? Okay, and then what is the equation of that line? Because what is that coordinate that corresponds? It's either going to be something equals 4 or something equals -7. Which one is it going to be? Is it x or y? What is a horizontal line? And then which is the x and y coordinate of the coordinate pair?
I just touched my shoulder.
Emma, go for it.
X equals -7.
So x equals -7 is not quite right. So -7 is indeed the number that we're going to use, but this is not the right variable.
Oh,
Go for it again, Emma.
why?
Why is it y equals -7?
Because it's always like
What is the y coordinate of this coordinate pair?
delta x over delta y, right?
So in these two, what is the y coordinate of the coordinate pair?
-7.
So the y coordinate is -7, and that's the answer.
Yeah.
So y equals -7. Again, this coordinate pair is x comma y. Horizontal line always goes like this. Shoo, shoo. It goes through the y-axis. If it's going through the y-axis, choose the y number, and it's y equals that number. If you have a vertical line, shoo, you're going like this. You're going through the x-axis. Choose the x number, and x equals that number. All right. Let's try another one. On the back. Example number 3. Give me the equation of this line. Quiet raise hand. Who hasn't participated yet? What is the equation of that line? Kira.
Y equals -2.
You are correct. Why is it y equals -2?
Because it's a horizontal line and it crosses through the y-axis at -2.
You have a beautiful way of explaining it. Yes, not only is it a horizontal line, but it goes through the y-axis at -2. You're basically saying the answer. Yes, and then someone else. Slope of that line. Ugo.
It's 0.
Zero. There it is. Thank you. It does not go up. It does not go down. It just stays nice and flat. All right, and our final hard example, number 4. What is the equation of the vertical line? So think vertical. Make it. Which one is it? And then that passes through -3, 1. Larissa.
It's x equals -3.
Oh my gosh, you guys are killing it. It is indeed x equals -3. And I'll just add on another question to see if we can get any more to participate. What is the slope of this? Oh, you have a question, Charles? The 1 means that it just happens. So if I were to look up this on a graph, and I have -3, 1, which is right about there, I'm just going to say, it's saying that while x equals -3, this is the equation line, that is a point that's on the line. I could have -3, 2, -3, 3, -3, 4. -3, 1 just happens to be one of the points that's on that line. Yeah, good question. To give one more bout of XP, I think there's... is everyone in? No, I think there's at least one person. What is the slope of that line? You have a 50-50 shot. It's either D and E or 0. What is the slope of this line?
Nobody raise your hand. Just like you can just go back to your notes.
What line?
Of this line in example number 4, x equals -3. Whenever it's just an x, go back to our notes. When it's just an x, which side are we on? What is the slope? If it's x equals something, what is the slope? It is D and E. Thank you, Hazi. Yes, so everyone can get their 100 XP. My tablet is not working. There it goes. The slope does not exist. Does not exist. Perfect. Thank you, guys. That's it.